Hi, friends. I am so excited to be here today with Laurel, Irene, and David Harris. We are going to be talking all things Miami workshop and why you should come and join us. It's going to be so fantastic. Friends, it is wonderful to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So excited. So I know that you're doing 3 presentations, friends. They will be doing How Technology Gives Us the Rainbow, Your Voice, Your Choice. I just love that title. And Compassionate Leadership Through Technology. So friends, if you could, would you kind of talk about those things so we know what to expect and what it's going to be like for us?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you want to start or you want me to?
Why don't you start?
So we met 8 years ago and quickly became close on the ideas around voice science. We met at the 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗔 Institute in Utah. And anyway, long story short, eventually created Voice Science Works, which is a website. We do workshops, etc. The goal of it is to help translate complex science into everyday applicable knowledge and practice. And so we actually ran into 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗧𝗏, who's with NATS several years ago at a conference, and he saw us talk and blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that we really love doing, in fact, I would say maybe our priority, is helping people have direct sensory relationships with the voice and with vocal production and the creation of sound, by contrast to having to just talk about it all the time. So a lot of the confusion around the voice leads to people trying to explain it.
Right.
They explain away, but when push comes to shove and you actually want to make sound, use the body. And so how we do that through technology is through several different programs that speak directly to the ear. And by speaking directly to the ear then speaks directly to the voice. And the results are actually, I think every time, magical. I'm just like, wow, that works so well.
Nice.
We explore that. So the first session is about how do we use those technologies and how do we illuminate what the goals are, the targets that the ear wants to hear to teach the voice. And then how do you do that in a fun, collaborative way with the people you're working with, whether it be one-on-one, whether it be with yourself, an ensemble. And
yeah, I mean, I think it's taking the tools that, you know, we all know and have been passed down, you know, about voice lessons, like about listening and fine-tuning and thinking of sound in new ways and finding ways to visualize and access it. But with tech, we can just get more directly to what we're talking about. We don't have to, even with the sound, we can actually just take one little part of the sound and help you listen to that, help you bring that out in your voice, versus maybe getting confused about, you want me to, like, what do you mean by that? Actually talk to the ear and really fine tune sharp, quick ways. And I think a lot of us, we know that there's voice analyzers out there. We know about maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗧𝗏, and we've seen the pretty colorful lines and okay, that's my sound cool. But we're really hoping to help people explore how to use those tools, not just visually, but orally, and in a way that can help someone achieve any goal they have vocally. It's not about, you know, there's one type of resonance, or there's one way to sing that's healthy. Really, whatever you want to do, you can look at your goal in the analyzer, pick out the important parts, feed those to your ear, and help your voice create those. And so that's what we're going to be exploring really across all 3 sessions.
Sure.
That's
incredible.
Is what Laura was just saying.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to do? Let's figure out what makes that, what combination of harmonics creates that sound. Let's teach your body what that combination is and let it begin to explore without you having to think about it.
That sounds so amazing. I personally cannot wait to see that. I love tech. I just think it sounds fantastic. Tell me more about Your Voice, Your Choice, which I know, David, I told you that. I don't know what that means, but I love the title. So tell me more about
Laurel
that.
came up with that actually a long time ago. So you want to say more about?
Yeah, I think, it's kind of what I was just hinting at earlier, the idea. I came up in very classical singing tradition and came away with the idea that we all have one voice, we have one 𝗏, we have one role, we're meant to sing, and you need to find it, and you actually might search for voice teachers around the world to tell you what that is, because you might not know. And I think, Your Voice, Your Choice is in response to that our voice is actually so versatile, so diverse. We could do so many things. And just like that, we don't have to retune. We don't have to go from the size of a violin to a cello. We just actually are malleable and can move and can go from all these different colors, right?
Yes, yes.
Listen to a little kid tell a story, or listen to voice actors who do cartoons,
Mhm.
and or any of us. So from that, as artists, we get to choose per moment, per song, per experience, what colors we're going to bring out in our voice to express what we want, and having access to those choices. And that's, yeah, another thing we love about the Voce Vista, the tech, the visual of seeing literally colors in my voice. Oh,
Ah.
look, I can choose to bring this one out and it sounds way more appropriate for musical theater. Oh, look, I can choose to bring this one out and now I'm fitting into the opera world. Knowing there are those choices and then getting to play with them.
And
Ah,
there's a really
amazing.
cool video that Laurel made. I guess we made it together, but you're the singer.
Yeah.
Where I go through, I think 13, 17, a bunch of different styles. And as she's singing them, we're showing in Voce Vista what they look like.
Would you please talk about the compassionate leadership through technology? That sounds like a very important subject matter.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that's the other front or growing edge of what we do. And we started a podcast focused on compassion from a leadership perspective. And compassion has a lot of definitions, but from a scientific standpoint, the people who research compassion define it as recognizing that everybody suffers, yourself and everybody else, and then wanting for that suffering to be alleviated. And when you first hear it, you're like, well, I don't want to focus on suffering. That sounds horrible. But when we start to just say, well, okay, so we're all dealing with stuff. And
Yes.
whatever we bring into the room, that's going to be there.
We're
And
all bringing something into the lesson, into the rehearsal. Yeah. Yeah.
and even the teacher or the leader. And I think we'd all agree we'd rather not contribute to that suffering. So if we just
Right.
start side by saying, okay, let's just acknowledge that we'd rather alleviate the suffering. Well, what does that mean for now all of our choices and all of our actions? Well, from learning theory to just common sense about being nice to people,
Right.
we come to some decisions about how we ask people to do things. Value of working together versus one person telling another person what to do. The
Yes.
value of the language choices we make, using good, bad, right, wrong, judgment kinds of language versus using illuminating language like, what did you enjoy about that? Or how would you describe that sound versus that wasn't the right one? These kinds of things add up to an experience in voice that is uplifting and engaging in the long term,
Yes.
rather than what I think many of us have experienced in our lives, what can feel like a drag if you're constantly telling people what they're doing wrong versus
Right.
and yourself. You're telling
And a
yourself
drag
what
for
to
the,
do.
yes, for the student as well. I mean, then you're constantly in a state of, I need to fix this, I need to fix
Right.
that, as opposed to I'm creating, let's see what happens, right? That illuminating language, that's beautiful.
Yeah. David's background is in choral directing and just bringing together groups of all kinds to create together. And so just having that experience is, I think, really, just needed in every space. I think that's really exciting to have what he brings to that from his experience. But I think also when we're talking about technology, when we're getting into that brain space of like, okay, why isn't it working? Okay, where's that button? Oh my gosh, what, why is the computer frozen? It's so easy to forget about this other brain space and also to use technology as another tool to judge ourselves. Like we've had people, they sing into the analyzer, they look at it and they're like, oh God, I hate my performance. Like, is that what I'm doing wrong? That's why I suck. Right? I have the proof now, like if you come into it with looking for proof of, oh, that's why I can't do this thing I want to do, then sure, I guess technology could show that to you. But remembering that it's new, it is frustrating, it's just a tool. We have to interpret the tool.
Yes.
And then, just kind of this compassion revolution that we've kind of, I don't know if we came up with the term, but we enjoy the term a lot.
I love that term. You did come up with it.
Okay.
Let's just say yes.
And to add to that, our sessions are very interactive. We
Okay.
spend a lot of time doing things.
Then we're gonna bring our headphone tree.
We're gonna have, yeah,
Ooh.
everybody's gonna get to experience. We call it
Headphones.
filtered listening, is the practice of taking sound and focusing on certain parts of the sound, teaching the ear that that part's important, and then letting the voice respond. And so it involves headphones if you want to do it in the most focused way. So we have 20 headphones, so 20 people can participate at once. And so we'll do a lot of that. We'll do a lot of other kinds of games and interacting in addition to informational. So because that's the experience we want to have when we learn, and it's the experience that we think if you just get information dumped on you, as Laurel realized once, we're simply giving people more reasons to feel like they're wrong. So this way we get to
Gosh.
explore their own way. And everybody, I know a lot of voice teachers are today saddled with the challenges of helping people make different sounds. And students who want to sound like XYZ, and most people who are teaching voice today were taught to make one sound.
Yes.
So
Right.
a huge goal of ours as we do workshops is to help free people from the constraints of how do I be an expert in something I don't know how to do, by offering them tools that allow for a conversation with the people who want to learn certain ways and certain
Right.
sounds, so that they can work together rather than having to be separated by an artificial line of expertise that really doesn't matter when we're creating and learning.
Well, I am so excited. Literally, I was just thinking, okay, this. I was making my own plan, apparently, for how I'll be coming to your sessions. And I just want to thank you so much. I know that you have a lot of lovely personal things going on in your life. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us about our very exciting workshop coming up. And friends, remember that you can register right now. We're in early registration. It's very important to get your registrations in so that we can plan appropriately for you. And as you can see, we have some incredible people coming, and they'll be teaching us and sharing with us. And yes, I'm very excited to be there myself. So David and Laurel, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah,
so
we're
much,
excited to
Karen.
see you.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see you
Yeah.
and I look forward to singing in that thing myself. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Good.
It'd be great to meet in person. Yeah.
yes. All right. Well, thanks everyone. And we'll see you again soon.
Okay.
Thanks.
See you in
Bye.
January.